By whatever you do, you will have rejections. That's the part of the job.
What are your hopes and aspiration for the future of ENT surgery?
Everyone says helping people is one of the biggest motivations of everyone choosing medicine, and it's the same for me.
What inspired you to pursue a career in medicine and specifically into ENT surgery?
There are a lot of things happening, like we are training surgeons from other countries.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have an amazing guest, Dr. Eghan Salibchi from Turkey. Welcome, sir, to our
Hello,
podcast.
thank you for having me, and everyone. Hello.
Thank you, sir. Sir, what inspired you to pursue a career in medicine and specifically into ENT surgery?
So I can answer that by first referring to medicine and then surgery and then ENT. So both of my parents are doctors, so I kind of knew what was inside medicine, and I liked what I saw. So basically, everyone says helping people is one of the biggest motivations of everyone choosing medicine, and it's the same for me. And I liked the job as well, but until the last year of med school, I didn't know what I wanted to become. Like I thought about internal medicine, psychiatry, and then surgery. And when in my intern year, I realized that I really like to be inside the OR, and basically that's the feeling that I get when I'm in the OR, when I decided to become a surgeon. And then for ENT, I would say ENT is kind of like, it is a very specific surgery which requires a lot of technology, and I really like technology. So again, that's why I decided on the specific branch of ENT. But and then you will have to subspecialize, and I think you have some other questions related to that about that. Yeah, that's
So that was the reason. So you mentioned that you gave a thought of to psychiatry.
yeah.
So did you explore psychiatry?
Yeah, I did. I actually
Yeah.
did some internship there as well. But then I realized, I think that can happen with everyone. I mean, if you have the chance to change or choose, that's a very good thing, because until you actually do it, you don't know what it's all about.
Exactly.
So for me, it was when I went into the ward and started to talk to patients, I realized that I couldn't do it. I mean, it wasn't for me. So it has a lot of psychiatry. They say psychiatry is easy compared to surgery, but actually psychiatry has a lot of intellectual burden that you carry to home with you. So I preferred to be physically drained and not psychologically. So that's why I switched to surgery.
Oh, that's wonderful answer, sir. Serving in an undeserved rural area is a unique challenge and opportunity as well. What motivated you to practice in such a setting, and how has it shaped your approach to patient care?
So it's not optional in my country. So after we finish residency in Turkey, we have to serve for 2 years in an underserved area as part of the training, I would say. But as a consultant, after you finish training, you will have to go there for 2 years. And I can say it was one of the most valuable parts of my training, because you're independent in a very remote setting. You don't have any professors, consultants to ask help for. So you basically learn how to be independent, take responsibility, and try to make out of what you already have. Because when you're training, you have everything, like cool stuff. But when you go to a rural area, you have to improvise, you have to adapt to the situation.
Exactly.
So I would say that is what made me a surgeon, not the training itself, but being there.
But that 2 years experience.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And do you think that 2 years experience help your healthcare system? Do you think it's a good idea? We should implement it here or not?
So that's a very difficult question, and it has many implications. So I cannot give you a definitive answer for that, because some say, even in my country, it is against a basic humanitarian ethics, because it's not optional. So you have to do it. Otherwise, you cannot practice medicine. But on the other hand, yes, it helps to keep a basic health infrastructure, even in the remotest corners of Turkey. So you can anywhere in Turkey, you can find specialist surgeons, because we have some rural areas like in Pakistan, but because you have to do it, and it's kind of a rotation system. So it is a double-edged sword, I would say.
Oh, this
It is a difficult question, and I don't have a definitive answer for that.
wonderful, sir. Absolutely amazing. Sir, endoscopic skull-based surgery is a highly specialized field. Can you share some of the unique challenges and rewards you encounter in this area of practice?
So a unique challenge is training. I was lucky to have a professor who was doing it on a daily basis. But basically, such specialized surgeries are very hard to get training because there are very limited people. That's the most important challenge. But on the other hand, what you get out of it is you are one of the few specialists who are able to do that type of surgery, which makes a lot of intrinsic reward when you can operate on a patient that hasn't been able to find
Exactly.
an surgeon.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it. So you are dedicated to developing low-cost, 3D printed
Yeah.
anatomical models for surgical planning in low middle income countries. What inspired you to initiate this projects?
So that's a very good question. So I was doing my master's in the UK. So I had to choose a dissertation, and that was my subject because I like 3D printing because I feel like it has a huge untapped potential even now, because it is very cheap compared to other technologies. Like you can get even for $200 you can get a desktop 3D printer and you can print anything out of it.
Exactly.
So I kind of uh, used what hobbyists do. Like they get a 3D printer to print action models like for Marvel movies. But rather than doing that, I decided to print anatomical models and it worked. So it can work in any setting, regardless of the income, because there are cheap versions as well. So you don't have to spend a lot of money to start a lab, but you can have a 3D printing lab even for a low cost, as low as $1,000. You can put it in a hospital anywhere in the world. So that's what made me to choose that subject.
Perfect, sir. So you are actively involved in organization, a
Yeah.
global surgery initiative in Turkey. Can you tell us more about the goals and progress of this initiative?
So that's basically we are trying to have an academic setting where we can share what's happening inside my country in global surgery terms, because there are a lot of things happening. Like we are training surgeons from other countries. There are senior surgeons going to operate and help other surgeons in other countries. But if it is not published, because they say publish or perish, as you know, if you don't publish, if you don't put your work out there, basically no one knows what you're doing and you cannot share what's working. And I think it's very important in medicine and especially in surgery to share what's working and what's not working.
Exactly. That's perfect. Love it, sir. What are some of the main obstacles you face in expanding access to surgical care in low and middle income countries?
So there are many challenges, and I would say the most important one is, for me at least, when I was it was the beginning. So I mean, the, so there are people that are interested in this, but you have to actively search for people interested and who could guide you to do that. So that was the most difficult challenge. And then when even when you find one or two people, then you will have like a lot of connections. So it's kind of like you have to keep insisting on trying to find the right person who can
Exactly.
get you connect you to the real things that is happening.
Perfect, sir. Love it. Sir, as a co-founder of Uncost, did I pronounce it right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
As a co-founder of Uncost, you focus on making cancer care accessible in Turkey. What gaps in cancer care were you trying to address through this initiative?
So this initiative, Oncoist, is actually aimed to international patients seeking cancer treatments in Turkey. So the international travel is very common now. So we have a lot of patients coming from Eastern Europe or Asia or Northern Africa to seek cancer treatments in Turkey, either if they're not available in their country or they are very expensive.
Exactly.
So it is an initiative to try to guide those patients to the correct services and affordable services that are available out there. So they will have access to the right cancer care for an affordable price.
And affordable.
Yeah.
That's your motto behind this.
Yes, it is.
Perfect, sir. What role does mentorship and training play in your work? As you already mentioned that it's very difficult to find the right person. Okay, but what advice do you offer to young surgeons aspiring to work in a complex and unreserved setting?
So I would say the most important thing is perseverance and resistance, because I mean, wherever you apply, whatever you do, you will have rejections. That's the part of the job.
Exactly.
So even if you're just trying to volunteer for research, that's what happened to me. You will have to mail maybe at least 20 places, 20 different institutions, hospitals, and then you will have at least 80% rejection rate.
Exactly.
And maybe most of them won't even get back, but that's the nature of the job. So if you keep writing, if you keep insisting, you will find the one or two that will accept you, and when you begin there, the rest will come. I mean, that's not just positive thinking, that's how it is. So if you increase your applications, you increase the chances of
Probability and success. Exactly.
Exactly. So they are correlated, and that's the advice that I would give.
Perfect, sir. This is amazing advice. I love it. Sir, what are some key changes or policies you believe are necessary to make healthcare more equitable and accessible in low and middle income countries?
I think increased collaboration. That was the subject of my speech today as well. So I think middle income countries like Pakistan has untapped potential as well. So because you have excellent surgeons, you have excellent institutions, but it is more sharing and collaborating more with low income countries or other middle income countries. And of course, the high income countries are always there. But I think the real untapped potential is collaboration between the middle income countries and low income countries to share what they already know.
Exactly.
Because they face similar challenges.
Similar story and similar situation. Perfect, sir. Sir, looking ahead, what are your hopes and inspiration for the future of ENT surgery and healthcare accessibility in Turkey?
So I would answer this for not just Turkey, but what I have in mind for the globe, I would say. So I would envision a future where any ENT surgeon, regardless if they're junior or senior or in training, can share their experience with each other, can ask for help, and then the help would be there because we have every technology possible to make this possible. Like we have now internet coverage even in the remotest parts of the world. We have telemedicine technologies, we have a lot of applications. So I think the challenge is to put this all together and make it available so that uh, we feel like a big community, and we can, I mean, this could be like, I envision it as, because when you're a junior surgeon, you ask to help for a professor anytime. So that's a part of training. And I think if we can keep this regardless of the time and place, then that would be a great future.
Exactly. Perfectly said. Sir, what is the one message that you want to give to the audience?
So I believe the audience is mostly junior doctors early in their careers. So I will repeat what I've just said, but perseverance. So
Perseverance.
and not be discouraged by the negativity that's out there, because it's out there, and rejection, as I said, is part of
The job.
the job, and it is important to know beforehand that you will be rejected, and that doesn't mean that you're not enough, you don't have enough. Yeah, you might not be enough, that's for sure, but we are all trying to improve regardless of the stage of our careers. And I think knowing that beforehand, before starting anything, that rejection is part of the nature of the things, is very important.
Exactly. Wonderful, sir. The last question is one word for me.
One word,
For me.
just for you.
Yes.
I think you would make an excellent surgeon, so I hope you pursue your career in surgery.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. It was such a great talking we did. Dr. Salibchi was still an amazing experience here. He spent like 2-3 days in Pakistan. He came to Turkey. And how was your days?
It was great. I mean, the hospitality is great. The city, I will still have to explore some more, and I really like it.
And did you like the foods?
Yes, yes. It's very similar to Turkish food. So I don't feel any difference foreign, but yeah, it's really good.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Well,
you.
pleasure
Thank you
talk-
for having me.
Thank you so much.